there, Huskies. I'm Graham Wilgus.
And I'm Kay Mabwa.
We have a great show for you today. First off, we have a look at the upcoming winter musical, Hairspray.
So Hairspray is set in 1962 in Baltimore, and it focuses around a girl named Tracy Turnblatt who has a dream of performing on this after-school television show. And she tries to audition, but she gets denied because she's bigger, and realizes that she's not the only person that's being denied being put on the show. She realizes that the African-American community around her is also being discriminated against, and she makes it a mission then to try and integrate the show. And yeah, it's a really fun show, and I think everybody should come and see it.
Black Professionals Day was on Thursday, February 15th, and Newscene covered the event. Let's take a look.
Sometimes one of the first questions that people ask me here as principal is, why do we do this? It's pretty simple. You know, as a group of people, there are unfortunately the realities that sometimes there's an opportunity gap. And what I mean by opportunity gaps is that, I mean, I'm sure I can speak for folks on the panel. When we were growing up, maybe we didn't see folks that looked like us, you know, in positions of power, in positions of leadership. And as a result of that, sometimes we don't think that we have the ability to do those things.
The way my life was set up in the beginning, I should never even be standing before you today. I should be some statistic. I should probably be locked up or, you know, on the street somewhere or homeless. That's what statistics would say about the beginning of my journey. But I was determined. You didn't hear that first word. I was determined that I would not be defined by my circumstances.
Hello, everybody. Whoever can like really sing, like you shut it down. I want you to come up here.
This week in varsity sports, we're taking another look at the boys basketball team on their senior night. In a conference game against Hinsdale Central, senior night for the Huskies looked like it was going to be a great one as the game pursued. The visitors were quickly proven to be outmatched by the Huskies, as they were dominated up and down the court. The Devils were obliterated by a 30-point margin at the final whistle. Our reporters were fortunate enough to get a post-game interview with seniors Phil Sala and Martinez Linian III.
So big game because it's senior night. How do you guys feel going into the game?
We were pumped. We just wanted to have fun.
We went out there, you know, played hard.
Played for our brothers.
I played for him.
This is my brother, man.
And we just went out there and got buckets. We won by 30. Won conference.
Best in the state.
OPRS's synchronized swimming performance is coming up on April 19th. Here's a look at their program.
This year's theme is Broadway and musicals. Our opening is going to be Singing in the Rain. We do have a song from Hamilton called Schuyler Sisters. And I'm choreographing a song from Lion King called He Lives in You. April 19th, 20th, and 21st. There will be 4 shows.
Next up, we have this week's installment of The Monitor. I'm Graham Wilgus, and this is The Monitor. This past Wednesday was Valentine's Day, so we decided to dedicate today's episode to the most underappreciated love of our lives, Earth, and take a closer look at what's going on with climate change. You know, if you were a year, you'd be 2017, because you're the hottest on record. In the past 650,000 years, there have been 7 cycles of glacial advance and retreat, heating and cooling of the Earth. 7,000 years ago, we ended the last ice age, and human civilization began. But since then, carbon monoxide levels have gone up dramatically, not something we want to take credit for. You wouldn't want to pump carbon dioxide into your girlfriend, so why do you do it to the Earth? Unfortunately, scientists have found that climate change is 95% likely to be caused by human activity, which has brought greenhouse gas to an ultimate high in the 20th century. Where's the physical evidence? It can be found in the melting polar ice caps and more ancient evidence in the rings of trees. Not to mention the global rise in temperature of 2 degrees, the warming, acidification, and rise of the ocean, the melting of glaciers and ice sheets, sea levels rising, and extreme weather. You know, you may think that this is a contained problem, but as very old ice melts, viruses and plagues that have not yet been seen or studied escape from the gas pockets. As water levels rise and extreme weather occurs, more money is spent on disaster relief, which can bring down our economy. As the ocean acidifies, we could potentially lose a whole ecosystem that fishermen, biologists, and major companies depend on. For us, as the future of the United States and the world, we should be fighting to keep our world alive. So we encourage you to reach out to the environmental club at our school to learn more about what we can do to save the world. Literally. This has been The Monitor.
The girls' basketball team used their fearless passion, determination, and skills to win a double overtime home game versus West Leiden. The final score was OPRS 68 and Leiden 64. The Huskies have a 7-win and 5-loss record in the West Suburban Division.
Winterfest is coming up on March 16th. The event is in place of a winter dance and promises to be an exciting night.
Winterfest, it's kind of like Lollapalooza, so it's basically a giant music festival, but it has 3 DJs, a lot of games, and more stuff you can do. There's Mario Kart, giant chess, also a wipeout zone. The attire is black. You don't need to be all fancy for it. Just wear black. You can design shirts for Winterfest. And the best part is you don't need a date. There's one DJ, the only thing that you could do was like dance, eat, or just sit down. Winterfest is much different. There are 3 DJs, so you could listen to 3 types of music. You can play games, you can do art. We have an art wall, and you can eat as well. For the first 2 days, it's going to be $20, and you can enter to get a VIP service, which means you can skip the huge line to get into Winterfest. You can go up front for a stage performance and other stuff you can do.
February is coming to an end, and that also means that Black History Month is as well. We thought we'd take this time to honor a few influential African Americans who have excelled in everything from sports to tech. Serena Williams is one of the most notable tennis players of all time, holding 23 Grand Slam single titles. Her father, Richard Williams, a former sharecropper from Louisiana, determined to see his 2 youngest girls succeed, used books and videos to instruct Serena and Venus on how to play the game. Serena began practicing at 3 years old on a court near her home in Compton, California. She stands as a role model for many in the Black community, a reminder that success is possible for all, no matter what your racial background may be. 503 men and women run the largest U.S. public companies, 3 of which are African Americans. Ken Chenault is one of these 3. He is the former CEO of Amex. Chenault, who major American Express shareholder Warren Buffett called the gold standard for corporate leadership and the benchmark that I measure others against. He's had a 16-year run atop the credit card issuer, navigating the aftermath of September 11th, the financial crisis, and a recent turnaround effort. He has been influential in helping further progression within the banking industry. Lastly, we have James E. West. Ever talked on the telephone, nor sung karaoke for that matter? Well, of course you have. And we can thank Dr. West for developing a microphone technology that is used in over 90% of microphones in use today, including in telephones. A 40-year-old veteran of Bell Labs, he holds numerous patents and has dedicated himself to encourage more people of color to get involved in science-related fields. Black History Month may be coming to a close, but that does not mean that the legacies of these influential African Americans should be left behind.
Finally, the Chinese New Year Festival was last Friday the 16th. Here's a quick look at the event.
It's important because you get to understand a different culture and celebrate. Yeah. So it helps other people see other cultures and get, what's the word? It brings people together.
That's all we have for you this week, Huskies.
Have a great day.